So I'm sure everybody knows Anu Balani is the president of ISHRAE, and I don't want to run his bio again. So next I'm going to call Mr. Srinivas from FSAI. Is he here? Yeah, sorry. So he's a postgraduate electrical engineer, is a fellow of Institution of Engineers, Chartered Engineer, Certified Energy Auditor, Accredited Professional. He is a senior member of IEEE, ISHRAE, ILF, FSAI, IAPA, and IPA, and a certified healthcare facility. And he is the founder president of FSAI Hyderabad and past chair of IPA Hyderabad. He established Synergy Infra Consultant in 1996 and working over 5,000 projects and has made global presentation. The next Navratna that I have is Dr. Ananta Singh Dalgunshikar. So she is a PhD in real estate, MRISCS, tech speaker, and distinguished alumni awardee of Miranda House. She has dedicated 33 years of real estate industry as an executive director, DLF, CEMR, MGF, and senior ED XPR. She has launched over 100 products, recipient of 50 awards and accolades. She is a founder and president of NADCO Mahi under the aegis of Ministry of Housing and Development. The next we have our Sonali Datta. Sonali, can we have you? Sonali is a corporate executive. I'm sure all of us would have known her, met her. Turned an organic farmer and a sustainability enthusiast. She's a national president of Corporate Sustainability Council, WICCI, a long-standing ISHRAE member with over 36 years of experience. She previously served as vice president corporate affairs HR as Breyer and Power Group. She has also chaired the ICC under POSH committee. G100 country advisor, member of diversity, inclusion and representation in India, and a member of several advisory boards. The next we have Sheetal Pikar. Can we have her here? Yeah. She's a visionary leader behind UPSC, a leading MEP consultancy firm which has a dramatically altered urban landscape across over 120 million square feet. Wow. Her heartbreaking initiative, A Real Women Awards, has empowered 156 women advocating for inclusivity in the construction industry. Recognized for her outstanding work, Sheetal has garnered numerous prestigious awards. As a founder of Real Women Global Community and VP East at NARADCO Mahi, she continues to champion gender equality and female leadership in Indian construction. Thank you. Can we have Tusharji here, please? I'm sure Rajasthan would know Tusharji, but still, I've run through it. She's a PR graduate from Malviya Regional Engineering College, Jaipur. He's the chairman of Indian Institute of Architecture, Rajasthan chapter, and junior vice president of National Committee. He chairs GEM Rajasthan and SOCHEM's Rajasthan State Development. As a trendsetter, a high-rise development with over 65 million square feet in progress, he provides consultancy to major developers and has several green buildings to his credit. Recognized for his contribution, he has received awards from CREDAI, Dainik Bhaskar, ZTV, Ultratech Cement. He is also an ardent Rotarian and a member of FSCI and IA. Two more. Last one. Leena ma'am. Can you see her? Okay. Thank you for coming. I know your flight was late, but you still made it. She is a Bangalore University architecture graduate. Founded Kumar Consultants in 1990, handling projects across hospitality, residential, institutional, educational, industrial, commercial, and healthcare sectors. With a passion for low-cost and community-driven designs, she values build spaces and connect with the past involved with architects, interiors, designers since 2008. Oh, Mr. Gurmeet Singh. So I think everybody knows Gurmeet ji, but still, I will run through very quickly. He's a managing director of Rajkot Group, based near Mumbai, and national president of Indian Plumbing Association with over 30 years of leadership experience. He is a founding trustee and secretary of Indian Institute of Plumbing and immediate past national chairman of CIA, Indian Green Building Council. He serves as a task force member of National Water Mission and collaborates with MOHAU, an initiative like Amrit 2.0. He has received numerous accolades, including IPA's Lifetime Achievement Award and honors from Business Association of India and Behrain Mumbai Licensed Plumbing Association. Next, the last we have architect Sarosh Wadia sir. Mr. Wadia is alumnus of CEPT University, began his architectural journey under the mentorship of Professor B.V. Doshi. His award-winning thesis on Zoroastrian fire temples and contribution to architectural photography highlights his academic prowess. As a national president of IIIT, he has significantly influenced an architectural profession for nearly 3 decades, and he has been a professor and academic board member in Gujarat Architectural College. A partner with P.P. Wadia & Son and co-founder of his own firm, Soroji Projects span academic, healthcare and heritage conservation. So with this, I present to you our 9 Ragnatans, and I'm going to go one by one. I have set questions, which, just to give you a little tone, Joe MP sir has already spoken about it. So in this pursuit, global sustainability goals, achieving net zero carbon emissions in the built environment stand up pivotal challenges. Now, this panel is going to explore how forging a coalition across stakeholders, ranging from policymakers and industry leaders to the community advocates, can catalyze an adoption of sustainable practices. Can you hear me? Okay, sorry. By integrating innovative technologies, fostering collaboration, and shaping robust policies. This is from ChatGPT. This coalition aims to derive tangible progress towards a net zero future. So with this, I'm sorry, all the bios that you saw was all courtesy ChatGPT. These are so much. So without wasting time, I'll come to Anup as the president. So Anup, I have a question for you. How can a stakeholder from diverse professions organization form a coalition to accelerate progress towards achieving net zero emission in the built environment? And what are the key challenges that must be overcome to ensure successful collaboration? I would request you to elaborate not more than 2 minutes on strength and prior experiences of ISHRAE to lead similar activities.
Okay, so yes, we can collaborate. ISHRAE, like I have always said, has done a lot of collations, and we can do collations. And we can form a smart collation, and where there are measurable, achievable goals, and ISHRAE can take the lead for the collations. We are there for it. Now, coming to your second part of the question, which is, come again?
Elevator strength and prior experiences of ISHRAE to lead similar.
Well, I don't think so. After today's thing, I have to tell ISHRAE's strength to anybody. ISHRAE's got, of course, I think most of you were there, so you saw ISHRAE's strength, what I gave in my presentation. And again, I'll say the same thing. ISHRAE's got technical strength in the net zero field. By net zero is an umbrella, but under that umbrella, there are a lot of other small heads. And most of the heads are covered by HVAC&R. So ISHRAE's got strength in all those things. So I don't think so I need to tell anybody ISHRAE's strength. What was your third part of the question?
That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sonali, I'm coming to you now.
So I think they can all agree that ISHRAE can do a coalition.
Thank you, Anup. Thank you very much. So, Sonali, the next one is for you. In striving for net zero goals in a built environment, how might a women-centric approach differ from traditional strategies, and what unique strength or perspectives do women bring to a sustainable development and design practices? How does your organization can contribute to strengthen this coalition which Anup just spoke about?
You asked me that because I'm a woman, right?
Yeah, that's it. And you come from that. Right. Vicky.
Yeah. I'll answer that in 2 parts. And I'll say that one is, one is the more diverse the group is. And I will not say many cooks spoil the broth, but when they bring their special perspectives and skill sets, then the coalition runs better. If there is a thread which is tying us together. I'll not go into the technology of net zero. I'll not go into the technology of net zero. Now, the second part of it, how women can help. Well, I think women tend to look at things at totality, more as the implementation and what happens next. Not as only you've got your certification, you've got your compliances, you've got your this thing, but what the last mile, as I call it, does it actually work? Does it work 5 years later? And they are looking at sustainability as a bigger picture. The third part of your question, I'll keep it short, how Wiki can help. It can help in mentoring people, advocacy, building a better network. So everywhere, like Anup said, it's part of the same group. We are only different names. And I can't think myself as a different person because I've been in HVAC
For a very long time.
life.
Thank you, Sonali. So I come to Mr. Srinivas. So how important is the integration of advanced fire and security technologies with sustainable buildings practices to achieve net zero goals? Ensuring that both environment and sustainability and occupant safety since the project's initiation, and how can this build environment coalition support and integrated practice?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mittal. First of all, I would like to congratulate the organizers for a wonderful and spectacular show. And second thing is adding fire to the code. Really, it's really wonderful because so far, none of the codes related to the green or net zero are talking about the importance of fire. It's very, very important actually. What will happen is, generally as a concept, if you look at a net zero building, you look at, the total life cycle carbon footprint of the building. But if there is a fire in the building, what will happen? Not only that, they will add again to the carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, and plus the embodied energy will again go up because you have to replace or renew or rebuild the whole space. So it's very important that every material, because what is happening is if you look at the net zero buildings, mostly energy efficiency is the highest priority there. Naturally, the entire building is mostly airtight because no exfiltration and infiltration of air is allowed. And then we use a lot of insulation materials. Probably they could release a lot of obnoxious gases or toxic gases whenever there is a fire. And also smoke management may become a major issue. Unless you have openable windows and other things. And also for the access for the firefighters, it may pose a biggest threat. And especially if you have building integrated photovoltaics or rooftop solar systems, and then the firefighters will not be able to understand how to fight fires in such situations. So it's very, very important that at the initial stage itself, not only the embodied energy of every material or its energy use index, even the fire properties of the material should be established, and along with the energy modeling, we should do a fire modeling and evacuation modeling of the building to make sure that it is completely net zero throughout its life cycle. And next year, the other point, whatever you are talking about, the latest developments, the IoT is one of the things which has got early warning systems, early surveillance systems. The same thing goes even for the security and other things. And FSA has got a Suraksha Index. Mr. Pankaj Dharkar himself is the chair for that. And it's a wonderful rating system, which if it is used along with the net zero buildings, I'm sure we can make sure that all the buildings could be made really safe, not only net zero. Net zero is definitely required, but along with that, safety is paramount important.
Yeah, I know what you spoke about. I think fire is something important, and I know FSA has been doing a great job on that. Thank you, sir. Dr. Raghuvanshi, I'll come to you next. What constructive measures do you believe are necessary to incentivize and regulate the adoption of net zero building standard within the real estate sector, ensuring sustainable development practices aligned with the national environmental goals? And what challenges that you see? The two parts, I'll take it.
Thank you so much for that question. A very good evening to a most patient audience. I admire your patience, and heartiest congratulations to the cool team from ISHRAE as well. Now coming back to my question, when it comes to builders, the only thing that can incentivize them is financial benefits, money, which in this arrangement could probably translate into additional FAR or FSI. But what I read in front of me on the wall there is India carbon neutral by 2070. And that's what our Honorable Prime Minister wants us to achieve. Now, if we have to achieve that, then of course, we need to mandate. And mandate also needs checks and balances, because a lot of builders would go for pre-certification and get the MOEF clearances, but they may not necessarily go ahead and complete the entire process and certification. So checks and balances are needed there. However, there are a lot of builders who have gone ahead and taken the initiative. 2 days back, I was at Met City near Sultanpur National Park. And Met City has got platinum rating from IGBC. And that's fantastic because it's 8,250 acres. And for that size and scale of project, if they are already thinking ahead. Another good thing is that IGBC is also giving these ratings which are time linked. It's not in perpetuity. So they still have the chance and opportunity to go and check. Very quickly, I would like to highlight three other commendable, if I may say so. ICICI Rural Self-Employment Training Institute in Jaipur, right here in Rajasthan. They don't require any water, energy or discharge any waste into the municipal mains, which is so commendable. So it's completely net zero, and it's an initiative that they have taken themselves. Another, one worth mentioning is Medanta Hospital in Gurugram. A lot of you would have heard of it. Now, as far as they are concerned, they are waste neutral. They don't throw back any waste into the municipal lines. For a hospital, that's huge. It's not easy. And last is, I must compliment Gurmeet ji here for that and his entire team. IGBC headquarters in Hyderabad. They produce more energy than their consumption. So they are, in that sense, net positive. And they use bifacial solar power panels. And so these are examples of voluntary, initiatives that people have taken. And there are another 150 projects similar to the ones that I just named, which are in various stages of development and certification. So it's really nice, but long way to go.
I know, that's right. I think, but Gurmeet, I'll take you now as a past of IGBC. I'll take the question to you as a past chair of IGBC. Sure. So buildings are responsible, as we know, that 38% of carbon emissions worldwide, right? How does IGBC address this move towards our goal of carbon neutrality?
Well, if you look
I have another question for you as I.
It's okay, no problem. You see the 38% carbon that we are talking about, 11% comes from products and 28% comes from operational carbon. And out of that 28%, 75% comes from HVAC systems. So you need to, guys, pull up your pants first before we talk of net zero.
We are.
Having said that, if you want to go net zero, you have to first look at that 11%, and therefore IGBC has taken the mantle to certify more than 8,200 products today. They might be having recyclable content, recyclability potential, a cradle-to-cradle approach, or energy efficient, water efficient, or using materials in abundance like fly ash cement and fly ash bricks, rather than materials in depletion. So we need products which are going to be less carbon intensive or less embodied carbon. That's where you will be able to offset 11%. The rest 28% comes from passive design and passive architecture, because if you look at the old buildings, even here, you look at the Hawa Mahal, or a lot of projects in Gujarat where you look at rainwater harvesting, the wells, those with step wells. So a lot of the projects or the Havelis in Gujarat where the center was open for day lighting and for rainwater harvesting. So you see, we have lost all this over time, and we have to go back to passive architecture. When we implement passive architecture, the building is anyway 3 to 4 degrees less in temperature than the ambient temperature without cooling. That means if it's 26 degrees outside or 30 degrees outside, I'm still comfortable at 26, and I only cool from 26 to 24 or 23, whatever you put. 23 is sinful now these days, but whatever you set your air conditioner to. So first is to reduce first is to ensure that we design a building with passive design. Second thing, we have to look at how we can optimize energy. My own drawing room is 800 square feet, 6 tons of air conditioning. The thumb rule was in every 200 square feet, you put 1.5 tons of air conditioning. I am also a culprit. Reliance Jamnagar, we are doing 750 square feet, 1 ton of air conditioning. Most of my consultants may not believe this. Reliance Jamnagar, we are doing 850 square feet, Koper Kherne 750 square feet for 1 ton of air conditioning. I do not know whether you are designing 1 ton at 850. You are now. You remember we had this discussion earlier also. So you have to look at how you can optimize energy consumption, energy efficient fans, motors, day lighting, where we look at simulation of the building over 370 to 350 the whole year, and we look at how we can get day lighting without getting in heat. Using glass merit support. There is a big myth that all green buildings are made of glass. Only one side is glass where you want to bring in light and not heat. Okay? So you design a building for water efficiency, energy efficiency, and you cannot achieve net zero carbon unless you achieve net zero water, net zero waste, and net zero energy. So we have buildings now, more than 150 projects in some certification stage or another, which are going net zero.
Thank you. So, Gurmeet, just to give you a heads up, at ISHRAE we have a technical group, and we have recently formed a technical group on passive cooling strategies. So, Nishant as the chair, I'm sure he's here or at the bar, but we've just formed the committee. So, Gurmeet, a quick question for you as a IP. How do you visualize the adoption of water conservation strategy within the built environment and role of achieving net zero goals? What are the water conservation strategies within built environment and water, obviously?
Okay, I'll come to water. See, basically there are 4 main pillars to go net zero with water. The first important pillar is nobody knows what our water consumption is. How much are you really consuming, because you're not metering every connection. Mr. Srinivas has done a wonderful thing by metering energy in lots of sites, and he has brought down the energy consumption in some sites, am I right, to 20% of the normal?
By metering, right?
By metering, by checking where we can save, by more than 80% he has been able to save the energy in lots of his sites, by the way. And he wants to do it in water now also. So he is doing it in water also, he is monitoring. Now first is education and awareness. I do not know how many of you know, but this guy here takes 2,500 liters to make. What we call virtual water. Like you have embedded energy, embodied carbon, you have embedded virtual water also. Or a kg of rice is 1,200 liters. A kg of wheat is 900 liters to make. So first is important to know what your water consumption is, and then you can optimize. You see, you can optimize energy because you know the bill comes and you pay the bill. So every time you say light band kar de, AC band kar de, you don't need it now. But you don't do it with water.
Water we do it, how we do it.
Yeah, I have seen people throw a cigarette butt in the WC and then flush it 4 times because that butt doesn't go through. Or you sing under your shower all the time thinking you're Lata Mangeshkar and Mohammad Rafi. I don't think you come out if you have the guts and sing on your bed if you have the guts. Anyway, so besides that point, second important thing is to rainwater harvest, because we do not rainwater harvest because maybe we may not have storage, but if you don't want to rainwater harvest, fill in your aquifers, because 70% of the water in India still comes from groundwater. Number 3, use low flow fixtures in sanitary ware. We are mandating them. I'm working with Jal Shakti Ministry and DPIIT and BIS, where we are mandating, and automatically you'll save 50-60% water without compromising on the comfort of the user. And 4th thing, reclaim all your black and grey water and reuse it for its appropriate use. Singapore reclaims black flush potty water, puts it in a bottle called New Water, and you and I go and drink it there. So there are ways to go net zero. You have to go systematically, otherwise you won't go net zero.
Thank you, Gurmeet for the insight on this. So, Sheetal ma'am, I'll come to you, Sheetal ji. Now, what are the potential long-term advantages of enhancing the participation of women in these efforts? How can a diverse coalition, including strong female representation, enhances the effectiveness of sustainable practices?
So first of all, thank you for this question, and thank you ISHRAE COOL Conclave for having me here. I feel privileged and honored sitting with all the president of all the eminent organizations. My organization is youngest of all, but it's a
most powerful.
Yeah, but it's the fastest growing women in construction community. We have currently 220 plus members in 18 cities. And coming to your question, I feel getting to net zero is a Herculean task, and I think for this all the economies on the earth, all the governments, and ultimately all the citizens have to come together, okay? And it's not only technological revolution, it's about revolutionizing your mindset. So you have to change the way you live. So all of us have to start thinking about it positively. And about women, I think women are like natural leaders when it comes to supporting on caring communities and our planet. And I think women bring people together and understand different viewpoints, and also bring out the solutions which are, comfortable for everyone. I think there women plays an important role. And here at Real Women Global Community, we are also actively involved in this global this efforts. So during in our communities, we are having online sessions and case studies on net zero buildings. We are also arranging industrial visits like. Next week itself, we are. I was just telling Gurmeet Singh ji that we are visiting. We are a group of 25 women. We are all across India. We are visiting IGBC HO in Hyderabad on 9th. Yes. So I think even in our conclave, an annual conclave, I must. Tell everyone here, instead of giving gifts, we had planted trees. So for all participants, we planted trees, and they were taken care by an NGO called Grow Trees. So we planted 150 trees during our event. I think these are small actions, but they can bring big changes. And I think we can inspire more people to join us, and I think women can lead this initiative very well.
Thank you, Sheetalji. Thank you so very much for this. Mr. Sarosh Wadia, I'm coming to you now, sir. So as we move towards achieving net zero goals in the built environment, one prevalent trend is the interior designers often become involved only after the basic structure is completed, right? How do you believe this practice hampers efforts towards sustainability, and what role do you envision in the Built Environment Coalition can play in reversing this? I know.
Good evening,
interior work that you guys do.
Good evening, all the dignitaries on the dais and the audience. And I was worried that I was just talking to Gurmeet ji that if we 11 go on the stage, who will remain in the audience? But I'm very glad that there are a lot of people sitting in the audience.
But everybody is waiting for the bar to open.
Because the bar is still closed.
Okay, now we come to the topic, the importance of incorporating sustainability and net zero principles into design process from the beginning has now become very important. And the Indian Institute of Interior Designer has in this term the theme of the term as design synergy, where we all work together. Otherwise, we can't achieve our goals. So this can also save a lot of changes and installation worries at a later date. The architect and the interior designer, by starting with a strong collaborative design base, can then design buildings that will not only minimize their impact, environmental impact, and are energy efficient, but also provide healthy, productive, and inspiring spaces for the occupants. Designing for sustainability is not a trend, it's a responsibility. Net zero is just not a goal, it's a necessity. So let's design for a better tomorrow, today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm coming to Leena, ma'am, please. You know, as an architect, architects are one of the key players in the complex design chain of the built environment. As a practicing architect, what do you feel are the main factors in achieving the net zero targets of the nation as we move forward into the century?
Thank you, ISHRAE. You're a very dynamic organization. Well, you were mentioning that India is to get net zero by the year 2070, which is it's a lot of hard work involved. And as an architect, I'm really concerned with the built environment. And if you look at the built environment, every space that we occupy really comprises the built environment. You know, even what is built and unbuilt, whether it's roads, whether it's streets, whether it's buildings. And we already have a very large infrastructure of the built environment. The second challenge and problem is that 80% of India is going to be built. So we really have two challenges now. One is that with our construction technology of concrete, the expected lifespan of buildings is between 60 to 80 years. So there's going to be a continuous cycle of things being built, and then once it lives its lifespan, you have to destroy it, almost. And we are going to build a lot more. So I believe that where design is concerned, where architecture is concerned, we really need to look at it in a very different way, where perhaps we see buildings as a warehouse for materials. So the idea of creativity, that we look at buildings with materials that can be reused. We look at buildings with the construction typology, the way it's fixed, and the way it can be dismantled. Because if materials can be reused, we also cut down on mining of material. And if the whole thing can really be calculated, and if there's an accountability to it, you can even have laws to decrease mining, because materials can be reused. And I believe that that's a very important factor in the way we perceive buildings of tomorrow if we really have to achieve this net zero. It can be a wonderful warehouse, really. So when you even remove a building, materials can be salvaged, used, and that's the only thing that can become sustainable. As our country goes on with the pace at which we are building, growing, developing, it's exciting, it's scary, it's an opportunity, it's a problem. It's all of it together.
Thank you, ma'am. And I think Tusharji, you are a local person here, so I took you at the last, and everybody is looking at you because you live nearby. So you have to take a little time. But continuing on the question what Leena ma'am said, what are the policy obstacles to implementing net zero building as per the prospect as an architect that you are?
Thank you, Mittalji. I think before I answer your question, we should all introspect and understand that why we are here and why we are discussing what went wrong with us. Where were we wrong? I think as Mr. Gurmeet mentioned, he mentioned about Hawa Mahal, built from my city. I think we were wrong in understanding the vernacular wisdom, the legacy which we got from our ancestor. We couldn't understand them properly. In the name of urban development, or coming the build form to the urban fabric, a different kind of a fabric, we went wrong. We were very fascinated by the city planning of Dubai. We couldn't understand that a lot of area was reclaimed by them. What is happening in Singapore, they are coming lot of structure on the reclaimed area. I think there we went wrong. We couldn't respect the wisdom of our ancestors. Not that they were not graduated in an architecture college or in an engineering college, but they were very holistic in their approach. They were respecting the climate. A city like Jaipur, which was being planned in the year 1726, and it is an example of a living heritage, still it is holding the density of the today's appetite. So I think, the approach by then architects or then engineers was very holistic. I have got a Haveli in my city, where the ambient temperature outside is 45 degrees. When I sit inside, I feel cool bridges without the air conditioner because the window was slitter. So they were not fascinated by a slit window, but they knew that there was a pressure drop, when you give a smaller window in a hot and dry climate like Jaipur, or for that matter, this part of the world. So they were very smart in, adapting the entire construction technology. But anyways, what has happened has happened. So, because now, with our design intervention, at today's level, and I honestly take the onus that, the shoulders lie on the architects, this thing. Because if we do not conceive a project right, as Mr. Gurmeet mentioned, right at the initial level, then we'll end up creating a problem, then proudly say we have solved it. First we create a problem, then solve it.
I think this is what is the need of the hour. We do not have to create the problems just in order to solve it.
Thank you.
Now, answer to your question, now since we have done some mistakes.
You live here. We don't live here. So, people there. All yours.
So, I think there are restricted policies, where we are not being able to jot down the codes, the statistics properly. So, it doesn't being able to register to the stakeholders properly. One challenges. Second, fear of getting a high cost. Myth, totally a myth. Because if you religiously follow the building bylaws or the MOF guideline or the pollution guidelines of a state, for that matter, any state like Jharkhand also, trust me, half of your building are more than green. But we do not do the compliance part of it. So I think a fear of a high cost, resistance for the change, very important. We say no, we will like to go with the conventional construction method, and we are not happy with it. Third is, I think, lack of training and research, definitely. We do not have skilled professionals. Now, since the time has come when our tentacles have started buzzing up, so lack of this thing, and I can see a lot of people drinking, so I'll finish my answer very fast. So, and last but not the least, I think, without any offense to any government officials, bureaucratic hurdles sometimes.
Absolutely.
Hurdles. So because if one bureaucrat, without any offense to anyone, if some bureaucrat with his wit come up with a policy, and moment he started, there's a mismatch between policy making and implementation. Moment, he frame a policy and then the stage of implementation comes, he's transferred. He's into different department. I know the very logic of this is to avoid nepotism or all those blah blah, but ultimately there has to be a equal balance between policy making and implementation process. The entire thing has to be institutionalized. Right? I think these are the few challenges.
Thank you, Tusharji. Thank you so very much. So,
Thank you.
MP sir, we can't. I'm sorry, we can't take questions. So,
Hello.
We have all the panelists
I think
around
we
here.
had a...
So if anybody has any question, they can talk to them after the session.
Off the line?
Off the line, yes, off the line. Over the drink.
So thank you very much, all the panelists. I think we had a very insightful analysis from all of you. Some of the points which I could capture was, I think there should be a harmonious blend of nature, culture and literature, as we have said. And second point which has come is education and awareness, very, very important. Community engagement, that was very highly pointed out. Continuous improvement in whatever we are doing, there should be continuous improvement. Collaboration and partnership, which has also come very openly. And then adaptation and resilience. There are some of the points which has come very openly. So thank you very much for pointing in all this. I think with all this, we are on the right track and the right path to make the universe of a net zero resilient structures. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Big
Thank
round
you,
of
thank you
applause.
everyone, thank you. I must appreciate all my panelists for all my Navratans for taking a very short time on answering the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Agarwal Saab. Thank you, Richie sir. It's very nice to see so many different associations in unison, and I'm sure each one of us will have to pull up something from our domain. I would like to, I would request MP Agarwal Saab if you can felicitate the entire team, including the moderator.
Thank you. Till that happens, I would request the advocacy team of ISHRAE, if they are here, please come on the dais. We're going to have a group picture. So,
Yes.
the advocacy team, whosoever is here from
Advocacy team of ISHRAE and Darkar Saab. Darkar Saab, you'll have to be on stage.
Hello. Do we have Mr. Mani Khanna over here? Ashu Gupta? Ashish is already there. Mr. Rajnish Agarwal? Advocacy Committee, please, fast, come on stage. Thank you.
I would request our presidential member Yogesh Saab, please come on stage to felicitate our session chair, Mr. MP Agarwal. Big round of applause for the entire advocacy team and so many associations on the same platform with a similar thought process, same vision. Please, a group photo.